All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Mark of Balance. My name is Mark, and today we have a very special episode coming to you guys today. We are marking the 1-year anniversary of the Star Wars Mark of Balance podcast, which is really crazy to me. I mean, 2021 has been a long year, but it's been a fun journey, and I'll always look back on 2021 and think about this podcast and how much I learned from doing it. We're 34 episodes in, hundreds of downloads later, and the support has been incredible. I'm not alone in the studio to celebrate this. I have 8 or 7, I'm not sure anymore, I'm not counting, close friends and siblings in the studio. It's decked out in Star Wars posters, Legos, DVDs. I have some brochures from Star Wars weekends in Disney and Star Wars Celebration. And I'm really grateful that you're all here today. If you all want to say hello, you can now. Don't break the mic.
Hello. Hello.
Don't sound too excited, everyone. Of course, I didn't and I couldn't have everyone come by the studio for this, but I do want to say thank you to everyone listening, everyone that supports the page, interacting with the posts, talking about the podcast whenever I run into you in person. That's always really fun for me. It really does make this whole podcast thing feel worth it. So thank you for that if you're listening or interacting with the page. To everyone in the room, I would like to thank you the most.
You're welcome.
I honestly don't think we'd be here right now if it wasn't for your guys' support and encouragement throughout. So I want to thank you all individually for, the encouragement to just start the podcast, advice on the equipment to use for the podcast. I have no idea what I'm doing up here with sound engineering and everything. So editing software, I appreciate all that help. To paying for advertisements on Instagram, that was really awesome. To simply reaching out after every episode and saying you enjoyed it, what you thought about it. Even becoming a bigger Star Wars fan just because I started the podcast, that's really cool to see. Posting every episode on your story to tell people to watch or listen, that's always amazing to see as well. It all really played a role in boosting my confidence to continue doing this thing that I love so much, and makes me want to keep doing it more and more moving forward. So thank you, and thank you for your honesty. If I was terrible at this and you guys have just been bluffing the whole time, it would be really awkward right now. And, at this point, it actually might be an intervention, and you guys are here to tell me to stop podcasting, which also might be true, but I don't think it is. So thank you for your honesty and telling me if it's good or not. Without further ado, how this episode's going to work is they are going to be asking me the questions this time, so it's going to be a little bit of a reverse interview. They'll be talking about the podcast itself or my opinions on Star Wars, and I think it'll be really fun to flip the script and see what you guys want to know about me and the podcast and what goes into it. And I'm really excited. If you guys are ready, then we can get right into this thing. All right, Mr. Cole Devlin steps up to the plate first.
Star Wars Mark of Balance filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Friends could never.
Yeah, absolutely not. All right.
My goodness.
Don't worry, it's only 2. I had backups.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right, Mark of Balance.
Yes.
Can I call you Mark? Thank you. All right, so do you feel since you've had this podcast, you've been able to expand your horizons in the world of Star Wars based on different guest stories and perspectives that have been presented in front of you on every episode?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say I definitely appreciate different Star Wars fans more. I know Star Wars isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, live, breathe, die Star Wars, but definitely seeing a bunch of my close friends become bigger Star Wars fans, because I don't want to take all the credit for saying that, but becoming bigger fans of Star Wars and wanting to talk about it more has been really cool. And definitely I've heard really cool stories from people. I just recently did an interview. Someone really liked Star Wars because they want to be a pilot when they get older, and they identified with Han Solo and X-Wing pilots, and that was really cool, to hear. But yeah, everyone in this room, you guys all had really cool beginnings as well, whether it was a movie or the toys or the comics or anything like that. So yeah, it's definitely expanded, how I look at Star Wars for sure. Yeah.
Very cool. My follow-up question. All right, so do you think if you were able to tell yourself a year ago what you've done with this podcast, from the live interactions with fans, your diversity among your episodes, and giving people a chance to voice their love for Star Wars, would you believe that you've made it this far? And if not, what would you like to accomplish before the year is over?
Wow. Okay. I do believe I have achieved my goal to a certain extent. My goal when I started the podcast was to take some toxicity out of the fandom that I feel was bubbling up from sequels and stuff like that. So I definitely wanted to take some toxicity out of the fandom, and I feel like even though I do have a small community of listeners and people in the area that follow me and some of my friends from down at school, I do believe that I am, fostering a healthy environment for Star Wars. I feel like people are excited to come on and talk about their Star Wars experience, and I love reaching out to people I might not have talked to because of Star Wars. It's definitely brought me closer to people that I haven't talked to in a while. And I think that was really my main goal, and I think I have accomplished that. But of course, I'm always trying to expand, and I could always be reaching more people. So I think definitely, within the year, I've definitely done what I set out to do. But I think there's always higher mountains to climb. So
Always.
coming soon. But yeah, that was a really awesome question. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Wrote it myself.
You presented it well too.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a good reader.
All right, Mr. Troy Miller, next question. Yeah. Oh my God!
I guess
I'll protect this.
I
I'll
guess I
protect
was
this.
holding this up here, so yeah.
For those of you listening, Troy just took down the entire set.
The entire set's gone. It's over.
Every Lego in here is destroyed.
Ha ha ha! Mark's podcast. This was my plan all along. Sabotage
He
from
played the
inside
long.
out.
He played the long
He's the
con.
Lord of the Rings guy.
He's wearing a Star Trek shirt.
Tricky for life. In a serious manner now. So, what would be your biggest, or what was your biggest inspiration for this podcast besides Star Wars itself? Like, was there a podcast that inspired you? And then where do you see the future of this podcast going?
Wow. I would say I don't have a specific inspiration for starting a Star Wars podcast, but I definitely have certain creators that I look up to in how they present their content. On YouTube, there's a guy called The Act Man. He has a bunch of video game videos where he does long form videos. So they're like 40 minutes long. And you would think in today's day and age, like shorter videos are better, but he gets hundreds of thousands of views on long form content. And I always, saw those, and it gave me more confidence to be like, it's okay to do long form content in today's day and age. So I really like The Act Man. I know we joked about Joe Rogan, but I do appreciate his ability to keep conversations going, and I try and work in some of his tactics on, not trying to talk over the guest, let the guest talk. Also, I do respect how Alex Cooper with Call Her Daddy does her own podcast with just one person. I know a lot of podcasts usually have 2 to 3 people, which is admittedly easier to do, but I think it's very hard to do a one-person podcast and keep the energy up and have dialogue with yourself, really, and really structure it well. So I do appreciate what she's doing as well. So I would say those are my main inspirations. And then where I see this podcast going in the future, just expanding and interviewing people I might not be close with. I think that's the next thing I really want to do. I obviously know you guys well, so it's easier to interview guys. But I think reaching out to people that appreciate the page and maybe I've never talked to, some people that I've never even spoken words to, but they appreciate the page and everything. I think it would be cool to start interviewing them and expanding from there. So I think that would be really fun moving forward.
Nice.
Thank you, Troy. That was a good one.
Now I got a big old brain buster for you.
A brain
I
buster.
got a brain buster. All right. Put you on the spot right here, right now. What is your favorite Star Wars moment of all time?
Favorite Star Wars moment of all time?
TV shows, movies, anything.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I have like 3.
I want one.
I know.
Think in your head.
I know. I'm gonna say the moment where Luke goes ballistic on Darth Vader in the throne room. When Darth Vader mentions that his like sister, and then Luke gets pissed and goes after him, and then starts slamming his lightsaber, and then cuts off his hand, and then he like looks at his own robotic hand, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, that's my father. We're the same." And then he throws away his lightsaber. That's probably my favorite moment. That's definitely why like Return of the Jedi is my favorite movie, is because of that like last scene. Yeah, that's tough though, because now I'm thinking of other ones. But yeah, I would say that one came to my mind first, so that has to be right. So yeah. I'm going with that one.
Raw reaction. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. That's right. Don't really think about it. Just get it. I like it.
Thank you, Troy. Thank you.
Next.
Oh, Kyle in the back. Kyle in the back.
You're our next guest on The Price is Right.
I just wanted to see it.
Kyle Henderson, Daily Bugle. Just one question for you, Mark.
obviously coming into this year, starting the podcast, you had a lot of ideas and things you planned on doing.
Yeah.
What's something that you originally planned on that you didn't get around to that may be coming in the future?
Oh gosh, I don't want to make promises. I did want to make a YouTube companion channel to the podcast, but I think the effort to go into I don't have any editing background, so I learned this was easy enough because it's just cutting sound clips together, but editing with visuals as well for a YouTube channel with obviously these are 30-40 minute episodes, and probably editing and putting together content for that would be a lot more difficult and time consuming. But I definitely think I started out saying I wanted to do a YouTube channel, but I ended up saying with grad school it might be easier to just do the podcast. It's single form, you're just getting audio, but I do think eventually I would hope to maybe start doing YouTube content, maybe not for every single episode, but hopefully that might be able to help expand the podcast a little more. So probably YouTube content was the one thing that I wanted to do, but I didn't end up doing yet.
Cool stuff.
Yep. Thank you, Kyle. That was good. That was a good question as well. Mr. Kevin Bailey's up to the stand.
All right, Mark, how are we?
Good. And you had a bunch of questions, right?
Yeah, but I narrowed them down to which ones I want you to answer.
Push up the glasses. I need these answers.
You physically do not have a choice. You must answer these.
Gotcha. I'm here for you.
So I'll start out with another difficult one like Troy did. What is your favorite all-time quote from Star Wars? Anything. Could be Clone Wars, the movies.
Okay. Okay, so there's two. I'm going to go with the one. So it's a combination quote. It's between two characters. It is in Clone Wars when Obi-Wan is in the throne room with Maul, and Obi-Wan says, it takes strength to resist the dark side. Only the weak embrace it. And then Darth Maul's like, it was more powerful than you could ever possibly imagine. And I really like that because it's, you kind of think about it, it's very easy to be jealous or to get angry over things or to forgive. No, not to forgive. It's difficult to forgive. It's easy to do all the dark side things, be jealous and all those things, but it's harder to, rise above and forgive, not be jealous, obviously. I'm doing a terrible job of making this profound, but I definitely do like that. I definitely do like that quote. I'm also going to say, do or do not, there is no try, because that really inspired the podcast. Because if you go in thinking you're just going to try, you think you're going to fail because you're just trying it, but if you go in with the intention to succeed, you will succeed, or you're more likely to succeed. So I like those two.
I think you can just take anything Yoda said ever.
Yeah,
just,
seriously.
That can be your favorite
he's just
quote.
he's just an almanac of knowledge, yeah.
All right, now this one is to definitely put you on the spot. I think you know which one this is.
Okay.
Who was your all-time favorite guest so far?
I'm not doing that.
You have to
I do
it.
not have to do it.
That is
our podcast.
This is our podcast, yeah.
I'm not doing it.
You have
I'm
to
not
answer
doing
it.
that. I'm not doing that. No.
Well,
It's too hard because in the beginning, I wasn't very experienced in interviewing. So that's putting
All the early ones are out. Sorry, guys.
yeah.
I'm not saying they're not. No, I'm saying I really like. I'm saying I like the early ones a lot. It's just I probably didn't let the guests shine enough because I wasn't good at interviewing enough at that point. I think the later ones I'm getting better at it. So it's hard to say if I got the best out of everyone because I've been learning throughout. I know you're not happy with that answer, but I'm not saying
That is
it.
the most PC answer I've ever
I'm a
heard.
politician right now. I'm up in the press conference. I'm a politician right now.
Just say it was Pat, all right? Just say it was Pat. Just cut the throat.
That doesn't even have his own episode.
I think you forgot this is the point where we're interviewing you.
I know exactly, and I gave you an answer.
You didn't.
I did.
That really wasn't an answer.
It's what you're getting.
You know what? I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's a blessing I'm here anyway. You guys have been pushing me out for years.
You got something to get off. Kevin just trailed off. He's like, man.
Yeah, I wanted you to pick me. That's why I was.
And another thing.
You know what? Actually, I'm not done. Sorry, Kev. I couldn't.
That's
That's
all
one
right.
of your other 12 questions.
Yeah, let's see if I.
15 others.
Probably super long.
All right, since you're into this whole engineering thing,
Okay. Wow.
this is like a fun one.
I'd like it.
How did the second Death Star get built so quickly? They just kind of like pulled that one out of their pocket, be like, "Oh, we have another one that's just like it but better."
They took 2 movies. A movie and a half. Really?
I would say if Luke can go from the farm boy to the master by the end of 3 movies, I think we could build the Death Star. That's-
answer.
I know, I'm kidding. I think the Empire's resources were greatly undershown in the movies, and I think by Return of the Jedi, as you could see by their fleet that's protecting the Death Star, you could tell they had a lot in the bank. They had a lot of resources to do this, and they weren't done with it.
Yes.
They weren't done with it.
It was more done than not done, though.
I mean, they were going through scaffolding. I mean, they were flying through scaffolding. I mean, they didn't take the scaffolding off
You think they would have did a better job, like, protecting it after, like, the first one?
because it wasn't done. So there was holes to go
Yeah,
through.
I know, but, like...
Weapon system was up.
Weapon systems were ready to go.
What if they started?
and they built the shield generator. They built the shield generator below ground. Maybe that's why. Maybe they put too much effort into the shield generator. They should have just finished it and covered up any holes that they could have.
Either way, they did a poor job. Any,
did.
like, massive base, they're, like, 0 for 3, 0 for 4.
Star Killer didn't go well either.
No, you think they would learn and,
What if
like...
they started while the first one was still there? Like, what if they were planning on having?
That
two
doesn't
the
make
whole time?
sense,
That's what I'm
though.
saying.
Like an insurance policy.
No, I'm saying like they were like, screw, like we're gonna have 2 of them and we're gonna kick some butt.
That's possible too.
Yeah,
Make some
but...
plans.
They might have been making 2 at one time, because the Death Star 2 was I think exponentially bigger than
It
Death
was.
Star 1. I think it was enormous.
It was, yes. It was
So that
much
might
bigger.
have been. You know what? I actually like that theory the most. I think that's actually. I think it would make sense that they were starting it early, but they're like very early.
You can't really keep that thing a secret, though.
Well, they
Says
did.
who?
Well, they
I
did.
mean, they kept the first one a secret.
The first one, they were like, "Oh, it's a moon."
That's...
You know what? I like the question because I think we got to the bottom of it,
Kevin
and I don't think the movies were ever gonna
Never said.
tell you that. Maybe in a book.
movie
you know,
magic. It's movie magic.
there is an aftermath book I think that might touch on that, but
can't
I'm not
read.
sure. I know.
Don't they talk about it in that one book that we like?
Lost Stars? Probably.
Because what's his face works on both of them.
Yeah, they probably do. Sienna. They might talk about it, but I'm not sure if they go into detail like, hey, we started this 5 years ago. I'm not sure. But that's a cool question. I like
Yeah, I think I overstayed my welcome, so that is enough questions for you.
it. Did you have more?
I mean, I'd rather
him off. Get
somebody
him out of
else.
there.
I'd rather have somebody else come and
All
talk.
right, all right.
I've talked your ear off enough.
Sorry to be a bother.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, Kevin. Who's next? Patty Boy. Uh-oh.
Before we get started, Kev, can I get a
All right. This is Patrick O'Toole here.
Pats?
Just want to thank you for having me back on, Mark.
Oh,
You
it's
know
always
me,
a
I'm
pleasure.
huge fan of the show.
Thank you. All right, yeah, can you let Pat talk, everyone?
I thought we were admitted that this was a little beer break here.
It would take a TV timeout.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we got a TV time out. They threw the challenge flag.
No, yeah, keep it going.
Is this when they
Keep it
start
going.
on for sponsorship?
This is brought to you by
MeUndies.
Manscaped.
Man,
Balance is brought to you by Vagisil. Sponsored by Kevin Bailey.
Hey, they pay well.
Kevin is indeed the face woman. All right, I think we're gonna.
Anyway. Just wanted to thank you for having me back on the show.
Of course, always a
I'm a
pleasure.
huge fan.
Yes.
And I am definitely one of the people that you have gotten more into Star Wars. A year ago to now, it's like
It's a day and night. It's day and night.
I
For
watch
sure.
I watch lore on YouTube all the time. I've read books. I love it.
I love to hear it. Yeah.
So, for the questions, what has been the most frustrating part of hosting a podcast?
Wow. Frustrating, I think, is editing for me. I mean, by the time I released the episode, I probably have listened to it 3 or 4 times through. First time, rough time, then cutting out all the blank space. Then second time for all the stuttering, likes, all that, cutting that out. And then going back and listening again to make sure that I cut it correctly. And then I listened through it again to do the little clips I put in the Instagram post. So I listened through it again, like what's a good part to put in the Instagram post. So I probably listened to it 3 or 4 times, and like I understand why big media and content creators, they hire editors just because it's so time consuming, and it's just like tedious because you know what you're saying already, but you're like, I have to listen to everything.
Probably get sick
again.
of hearing yourself, I would imagine.
Yeah, it doesn't help. So yeah, I'd say that's, probably the most frustrating part. There's other parts that I'm just not good at, but I wouldn't say I'm frustrated about them. It's just I don't have experience with them. Yeah.
Good answer. Okay. What is, in your opinion, in your opinion, what is the most heartbreaking moment in Star Wars?
Ooh, Obi-Wan leaving Padme. Jen probably guessed that because I love that scene. Yeah, Obi-Wan finding out, he says, Anakin's the father, isn't he? I'm so sorry. Dun, 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 dun. And then he flies away. I think that's the most probably heartbreaking part. I mean, there's plenty in there.
I think just in that movie, there's 3 or 4 alone.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, that part always gets me because it's Obi-Wan being like, I have to go kill my best friend, and I'm gonna have to kill the father of your child, and I'm so sorry that he is the father of your child.
Yeah.
And he leaves, and the music in the scene is fantastic.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably
That
my
one
favorite.
sentence holds a lot of weight. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm so sorry.
And finally,
Let you go, Anakin.
so who is the better villain, Vader or Palpatine? Now we know that Vader is more iconic, probably the most iconic villain of all time. But who is the better villain?
I would say Palpatine without a doubt. I think while Vader is more relatable.
It was him. He gave me the look.
That was disapproval.
Yeah.
No,
He did not like your answer.
I
That's
think I would
fine.
agree.
Still my answer.
Oh, he wants to answer that one.
These guys judge.
Now we're gonna answer questions. If we're gonna get opinionated, we'll take that one.
Please continue.
This is the Empire.
I think while Vader is a more empathetic villain, and I think Darth Sidious is a little more like, haha, I'm the bad guy, I want to take over the galaxy. I do think the fact that Sidious's plan was so orchestrated throughout the whole Republic, and that he was just playing in the shadows the whole time, and that no one, not even his own apprentices, knew his plan in the end. And then just the fact that he did have contingencies, I guess, because of Rise of Skywalker to come back to life. I don't know. But I really liked Sidious because he was a master manipulator. He literally turned someone against everyone they loved by promising them something that doesn't exist. No, it didn't exist at one point until once again Rise of Skywalker came along. But yeah, I just think the whole thing with like the clone army, manufacturing them from behind the scenes through his own apprentice, but putting it up as someone else, and then working his way from being a Naboo senator to literally the chancellor, and then taking over emergency power and playing both sides. I mean, having Count Dooku be like the prime minister of the Senate of the Separatists and controlling that side of the war, and keeping Count Dooku as an idiot too, even though Count Dooku comes off as someone that you think is super smart. I just think the way he plays everyone is incredible. But of course, Darth Vader is a much more empathetic villain, and a lot of people can identify with him and his struggle. But I do think Vader doesn't happen without Palpatine. So I would say Palpatine is the better
I
villain.
agree he's better villain, although I like Vader more. But
Yeah.
you can't get over that scheme he pulled.
The scheme. I mean, he
It's
just
unbelievable.
and Clone Wars adds so much context to the scheme.
I like
Like
the
there's
little,
there's like little moments that he almost gets caught, and he slithers out
pops
of
up
it.
here and there, and you know it's important.
Yeah.
Thank you
so-
for your answers, Mark. Pleasure to be here again.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, and me and Kyle love the lightsaber. And the
How
lightsaber hill.
serious-
Yeah.
How
How long
awesome
do you think he
lightsaber.
had that there?
Right.
No, he's
How
Oh.
long do you think that was there?
All right, serious
whole
question.
thing in
Did
peace
he
for a
shower
while.
with it on?
That's what, like,
You think he had it strapped?
In the movie.
Did he, did he wash his
Should have explained
lightsaber?
that.
You gotta fill these
Star Wars
bottles
rated
something.
What's the canon on Sidious lightsaber location?
Like, did he have it there the whole time? Like every movie?
Yeah. Thank you, Pat. Pat, those are great. Thank you.
I'll put Pat in the corner.
Oh,
No, but
jeez.
puts baby in the
I'm scared of these questions because these are like writer questions. So these,
These actually aren't that bad. Well, one.
I'm not saying they're gonna be bad. I'm saying I'm scared because I don't know. They're gonna be I don't know.
Well, one. I promised you one pretty controversial one.
Okay.
So,
I'm in.
I'll start you with the easy one.
Okay.
If you had, what? Oh shit! Sorry.
I want to make sure you're coming through good.
If you had to pick one Star Wars media to only watch for the rest of your life, which would it be?
That's
Movies,
Oh,
Clone
okay.
Wars, Rebels.
Well, TV is a media. So you're saying I have to pick Clone Wars or Rebels? Or you're saying TV
Sorry for my verbiage. I meant
you.
if you had to pick one Star Wars.
store? Okay.
Yeah.
So if I pick movies, I could watch every movie.
Yes.
And if I pick TV shows, I can watch Clone Wars and Rebels.
No. You have to pick one or the other.
What about limited series?
Oh, but the movie.
The holiday special?
I
think we should watch the Ewoks.
Wait. So if I pick
If
movies,
you pick
I can.
Clone Wars, you can't watch Rebels.
But if I pick movies, I can watch any movie.
Any Star Wars movie.
But I don't know.
Even Solo.
Even
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
A little more than you wanted to.
Oh man, that's tough.
So it was good. Whatever.
says.
I'm glad you had a good time. It was made for you.
Oh, now
I
wait.
totally took it as a compliment. He was like, thank you. Now you gotta think about it, though. Jen, we'll talk later.
Hot in here.
I would say movies. I would say movies. Even though I love Clone Wars, I identify as that generation. I do think the original trilogy, all of them, every time I watch them, I get chills at certain points, like I always do. Clone Wars has their moments, obviously, but I think the original trilogy, that gives me chills every time. Even the prequels, certain points in Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones do. Revenge of the Sith, everyone knows. It's full of them. I love Rogue One. We got the Rogue One poster in here. I love Rogue One. The sequels, they do their thing at some points. There are some moments in the sequels that I like as well. So I would say movies. It would be tough to not watch Clone Wars ever again. Ahsoka literally wouldn't exist because in my world. But I would say movies. I think they packed the punch.
I'm thinking about that.
Troy won't sleep tonight.
No, I won't. I'm just gonna sit there.
Do I really like Solo?
It's not as bad
Is
as
that a-
everyone says.
Is that a part of who I am now?
Mark, I want to apologize on behalf of everyone for all the editing you're going to have to do today.
No, I think some
we
of the
should stay
banter's fun. Some of the banter's fun, but I'll edit some of the other ones out. Just if
Troy, I like Solo too.
Thanks,
I
Kyle.
thought it wasn't bad.
I like Solo too.
It entertained me.
It's my number 11 though.
Out of 12.
Wait, no. How many are there?
12 saga?
Oh, it's 12 then.
Yeah.
I thought it was
There's 11.
I
thought it was
Ewok
11.
special over Solo.
Oh, you We're talking about live action, right?
9 movies and then Rogue
Oh,
One
yeah,
and Solo.
it is 11.
It's 11.
Well, isn't there the Clone Wars movie as well?
I
Ooh, that did go in theaters.
agree with that, but people don't include.
That was live action.
I stop at the holiday special.
It was good. I'm upset that we're just not going to house that Cole said he'd watch the Ewok ones over Solo.
I would. I stand by. I will stand by this forever. Solo was trash.
I found the,
Wow.
the Ewoks movie in an old
Isn't it all on
thrift
Disney?
store.
Isn't it all on Disney?
Not the Ewok thing.
I thought they had
They are now.
They have them now.
They are now.
Ooh.
And the original Clone Wars ones.
Yeah,
That was
I hear
exciting.
I hear the Ewoks were controversial back in the day. People didn't like them when they first appeared.
Not very
Yeah, a lot of
PC.
people didn't.
I mean, they look like.
PC.
They just look odd.
You're just throwing out letters now, aren't you?
They're very
I was
QA.
wondering, why did the Ewoks have a perfectly sized dress for Princess Leia?
They're good sewers.
They just had it ready to roll
This
out.
comes right back to the Death Star. They just pull it out of nowhere.
That movie magic.
They had an extra one.
All right, Jen. Next question.
This is the one I promised would be controversial. Who writes a better Star Wars score, John Williams or Kevin Kiner?
John Williams. I mean, I like Kevin Kiner and what he did with Clone Wars and Rebels. I love the Ahsoka theme that she does. I love season 4 of Rebels. I love that score. But I mean, I compare those to John Williams. Like those live up to John Williams. I say those are movie quality because they compare well to what John Williams has done. I mean, no way. Sorry, I'm sorry.
I thought that was going to be a little iffier.
Sorry, no, definitely John Williams. I really like what Kevin Kiner does. I think he matched in his own way. I think it was different, but it stuck with Star Wars. So, I mean, Ahsoka's theme is one of the best in Star Wars, but I mean, that's one theme out of a whole show. I think John Williams, he's got a catalog in one movie that could beat all of that. So, I think Revenge of the Sith is 2.5 hours of perfection. Score-wise, 2.5 hours. It is all
It's an opera,
scored.
It's a ballet.
It's space opera.
It
Space
is a
opera.
space opera.
Space opera. Boom. Yeah.
Damn. Well, sorry. I thought that was going to be.
It was a good question.
It was a good question.
really close.
No,
Hard
no,
to
I
question.
no, I appreciate bringing in scores into the conversation.
I figured you would.
I appreciate it.
My time is up. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for coming. B Figs, you're the
all that
last one.
remains.
Wow.
All that remains.
Mark, how's it going?
Good, man. Happy to have you back. Glad you can come by.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
It's getting a little hot in here.
It is very warm. We have about 9 people in a very cramped room.
And this perfect dog.
and a dog with a lot of fur.
Alrighty. So, my questions aren't long like Cole's. Weren't as amazingly thought out.
I mean,
you.
I have nothing poor to say about that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do. They're like 5-word questions.
that's fine.
Okay,
We
so
need-
my first question for you is if there's one thing you could change in any of the movies, and I know the sequels are, you could could probably change just about anything in those movies.
You're saying this is a
Make it better.
5-word question, but this is loaded.
Sorry, I'm putting my opinion in there real quick.
No, that's
But
fine.
If there's one thing you can change in any of the movies, what would it be and why?
Okay. I would change the bringing back to life thing in Rise of Skywalker because I think that completely messes up everything else in Star Wars. I think that completely changes the whole thing with Anakin. I think that takes away from the fact that Sidious was lying to him about, oh, have you heard of Darth Plagueis the Wise? I don't think that holds up, and I think when you introduce that now, every other Star Wars story, you can always say, oh, but they could be brought back to life by a Force user. If there's a Force user nearby, why didn't they bring them back to life? I think it just sends like a riff right through the canon of Star Wars. So I would say I'm okay with the healing, like the Grogu healing and then Rey healing. I think that's fine. I get that. But bringing someone back to life just by like shifting your Force into someone else, I think that's way too far because then it takes away like they talk about life and death and the balance but if you take away half that balance, then it's like,
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Almost felt like they were trying to bring the old heads back into it because a lot of people were like, I'm not going to watch the sequels. Like, a lot of the older people don't like the prequels.
Right,
So
it's
they're
true,
just
yeah.
stuck in this. They're like, oh, maybe we could bring that crowd. But
Yeah.
no.
Wasn't
it.
Yeah, it was
Wasn't
not
it.
it. So that's why it's my lowest Skywalker saga film. I think bringing people back to life is a no-go. I would change that. I would bring Palpatine back as a zombie robot thing, whatever, but do not be able to just like touch back to life.
Now you bring me back.
Just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that's the one thing I would change. Galactic patty cake.
Another question I have is, other than
Silence.
other than like the main characters, give me like 5 of like side characters from it could be Clone Wars, it could
Okay.
be Rebels, it could be the movies
Okay.
or the old Clone Wars. Like
Right.
5 side characters that are your favorite.
Okay. I love Echo from Clone Wars. I was always obsessed with him. I really liked his storyline in the original. Like he was always the guy that just like followed orders. And whenever he got the handprint on his chest in Rookies, like I like identified with him. I was like, I'm gonna follow this clone. So I really like Echo and the fact that I thought he was dead and I was so sad. And then in Bad Batch and the end of Clone Wars, he comes back. I'm like, oh, we get more Echo. So I really like Echo. Oh gosh. It's hard because like where do we draw the line of main character? Because like I would say R2 because R2 is not like
No, that's a good one. 'Cause I'm talking like some. Yeah.
okay. I like
Yeah.
I love R2. I like that you get so much out of his character just from beeps and boops and size. I feel like you still like understand him. Oh my gosh, 5 Hondo Onaka from Clone Wars. I love Hondo. He is hilarious. He is actually hilarious. Like he is not like a kid hilarious. Like this guy is funny. Like he is so he's written so well. Oh my gosh, 2 more side characters. Jeez. I'm like getting like 1,000 in my head.
There's a lot of characters.
This
it's
is
not,
so
it's
yeah.
not
I
easy.
feel like
But
there's one that you definitely have that we've talked about before.
Can you help me out?
Would it be Cad Bane? Would he be one of them?
Yeah. Oh,
yes,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was
Thank
thinking
you.
that. He
Thank
would
you.
be in
Troy.
my list.
I do. Yeah. Cad Bane's awesome. I love how he walks the walk. He talks the talk. Like he says he's a badass, and he is. And then he's also a smart bounty hunter. He's not just like I'm skilled with a weapon. Like he's actually smart. He plans stuff out. I love Cad Bane. Jeez. Whatever I say, I'm probably gonna regret later, and I'll be like, "Wait, what about that character?"
Shock T.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Maybe.
Yeah. Who knows anymore?
Who knows
You're
anymore?
missing one very, very important side character. Yep.
No, not George. Not George. Not George. It's hard to. Oh my god! Like I would also say like Darth Maul, but is he a main?
At one point, he was. So I feel like
Would he get nominated for lead role in an Oscar?
No, he would get supporting role.
Supporting role. I think that's where you draw the line.
Okay, because I was saying like even in Phantom Menace, he didn't. He had 2 lines of dialogue, and then he was erased. And then Clone Wars, he obviously became a huge character, and he came back in Rebel. I would say I like Maul. I'll say Maul just because I think he's not a main character. I think he's a very good supporting character. I like him because they took him from being the most one-dimensional thing ever. Like that guy looks cool. He has double blade lightsaber. I love him, and made him this like tortured soul, but also has the same like intellect as Sidious. He just didn't have the power, or he wasn't alive. Well, he was alive, but he was half the man, and he couldn't really he couldn't he couldn't really rise to that power that he wanted by his circumstances. But I think the fact that they brought him back and made him this super interesting character, and then in Rebels, he's nice, Kevin.
Kevin's being destructive right now.
I literally haven't moved.
Okay. And then in Rebels, I think he's really great as well. He plays like a totally different character. Instead of being a menacing, like fear-induced person, he's a charming, like, oh, I'm an old grandpa, I can't do anything. You can help me, I can help you. And then what he does in Rebels is great. So I would say Maul is my other favorite. But I am definitely gonna think about this later tonight. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I missed blah 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 or that. Yeah, so I think that was 5. I love Rex, but I would say he's a main character because he was a main character.
You did better than me. I wouldn't be able to do 5.
Yeah, well, I got help from Troy, and Kyle put me in the Phantom Menace vibe, which got me to Maul. So you guys helped me anyway. But that's a good question, though. That's good. Because most people would say main characters. When I ask them their favorite characters, they always say like main characters. So you don't really
Figured I'd
touch on the
switch it up
side
a little bit.
No, I like it. No, thank you.
Maul's character's nuts.
Maul's character's nuts. I love him. Sam Witwer. Oh man, shout out to him. He killed that. Is that it? Any more questions? All right, awesome. Thank you, B Figs. Is there anyone else? I have some questions from online, from the Instagram page. Yeah, I had two questions from Jake Nash. Shout out Jake Nash. He was an awesome guest, great guy. He said some really nice things about the show. Huh? Enough, Kevin. He asked me what was my favorite episode I've recorded and what's my favorite episode I haven't recorded yet. So like in the future, what I want to record. My favorite episode I've recorded, 2 come to mind. The Last Jedi, Dark Side, Light Side. I think even though I like the movie, I know people don't like the movie, and I think I presented both sides really well to the point where people that absolutely hate that movie could at least see like, oh, I see what they were going for. I see what themes they were aiming for. And then the dark side, I was like, okay, the plot is kind of a mess. Like, I think I touched on all good points, and that was kind of my goal with the podcast, is to hit both sides good enough to where someone could, see the balance. There we go. And then recently, the Village Bride episode I did. I really loved what I did with that. That was the first one I actually scripted out. I wrote everything down. And I think I brought up points that obviously people haven't really talked about, so I thought it was very original and new. And that kind of ties into my episode I haven't recorded yet. I mentioned in the episode I really wanted to reach out to people at the studio that did that and try and interview one of them, either an animator or a storyboard artist or something. I don't know if any of them speak English, so that would even be possible because it is a Japanese-based studio, but that's something I'd really want to do later on. And also I want to do like a vlog at Star Wars Celebration. But I can't go this year, unfortunately, because the tickets were, COVIDed up, and now they're like $1,000, so it's ridiculous. But I would love to do like a at Star Wars Celebration, record after, top of mind stuff while the Star Wars juices are flowing. You get the whole day of Star Wars. So that would be really fun too. So those would be like my episodes that I'm really excited for and my favorite episodes I've recorded. So thank you, Jake Nash. That was an awesome question. And then the other question I got was from Lauren. Troy's girlfriend. She asked me what my favorite Star Wars memory is. And that's tough. I would say 2 come to mind. Jen was there for both of them, actually. So the first Star Wars Celebration I went to, they do these screenings of the movies at night after like all the festivities. You can kind of just go in there and watch the movies. So me and Jen said, like, we're beat tired. I think they're showing Empire Strikes Back tonight. Let's just go in and watch it at the end of the day. So we kind of stumbled in like halfway through the movie. I think we're dead tired from standing in line, sitting on concrete floors. We slept on the floor. We went in and we just sat in the back row and we were watching it. And, as we were watching it, the crowds involved in it, it's all diehard Star Wars fans. So, you could feel the energy in the room. And then it was so great that it ended and they're like, okay, we're going to do Return of the Jedi now. And it's like 10 o'clock. Me and Jen have been up since like maybe 3:30 in the morning. And Return of the Jedi starts and we're like, we can't leave. Like, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. Because you're just in a room full of people that like would die for Star Wars. And the energy in the room was amazing. And I could never replicate that kind of thing ever again. So I'd say like that's a memory that sticks out for me. And just the fact that we were so boosted by that after a long day to sit in there and watch another movie, I would say says a lot about that moment. And then the other moment was just a funny moment. I don't think it's like my favorite memory, but it was a funny moment. It was at Star Wars Hollywood Studios, like the Star Wars weekends. So it's the end of the day, and me and Jen, I wanted to make a lightsaber because they had like a crude lightsaber station. They don't have like the crazy thing now where you do the holocron picking and all that. So I made the lightsaber, literally the last customer in the store. I buy the lightsaber. I walk outside, and I'm walking away. No words were said to the cashier as I was leaving. I hear a lightsaber ignite behind me. I'm like, is this happening? I turn around. This guy has a red lightsaber. He turned it on, and he challenged me to a duel without saying a word. He just turned it on, and he looked me in my eyes, and I'm like,
Women are queens.
and I looked at him. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening. So I have my new lightsaber. I turned it on, and we have like a lightsaber duel in the middle of Hollywood Studios. There's not many people around except Jen. Jen's like, what the hell is going on? And we have this lightsaber duel, and it's just the fact that he didn't say anything to me. I didn't say anything to him at checkout, and he just like sat there, and he's like, this kid's here late at night, buying a lightsaber, last one in the store. This guy probably loves Star Wars. I'm gonna do something cool. Literally, I don't know where he grabbed a lightsaber. Probably just like around under the counter, probably next to the double barrel. He pulls his lightsaber out. He's like, I'm doing this.
Good thing you picked the right one.
Right. Oh, God. Right.
Hey, kid. Duck.
You didn't pay taxes.
Wrong side of town. So then it was just the fact that he thought of that and no words were said, and it was just like the nerdiest thing I've definitely ever done in public. So it's like I really just had a lightsaber battle with this guy, but that one always sticks out to me. That one was hilarious.
Who won?
I don't remember. I have a witness. I don't remember. I think we were just like
happening.
Yeah, I think we just did, and we were just like, respect, thank you. And the last thing would just be at the Star Wars celebration panel for the last season of Clone Wars. Me and Steven. Steven couldn't come tonight, but he was really instrumental in starting the podcast. But going to see the last season of Star Wars Clone Wars panel at Star Wars Celebration in the room with all the creators, the actors, that was amazing. We got to see like footage of season 7 a couple months before it aired. That was like a culmination of my childhood, like a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago. COVID made things not real.
Last year didn't count.
Right. So I think it was 2018 or 19, but that was really amazing too. So I would say those are my, favorite memories from Star Wars, but I always have plenty, and of course the podcast is a great memory of Star Wars. But this is an extended memory; it never stops. But yeah, that was all the questions that you guys had and everyone on the Instagram had. So I guess this is the end. Thank you so much for listening. If you guys have anything else to say, contribute, no, that's fine. But yeah,
Thanks for having us again.
yeah, no, thank you guys for coming. I mean, it's pretty incredible. I can get all of us in the same room again to talk Star Wars. Obviously, it's so hot in here. It is ridiculously hot in here. I'm excited for you guys to definitely come back on. I'll find ways to work everyone back in. I like having repeat guests because, I could only get so much out of you guys in 40 minutes, so I like bringing people back. Troy, Jen know that. So everyone just gave me a side eye. So yeah, I'm really excited to get all these people back on. I know you guys really like hearing from them. Thank you for listening. Thank you for a year of the podcast. This has been awesome. Cole has another thing to say.
I have a fun question for you.
Sure, Cole. Give us a fun question.
Okay.
All right. Just stay with me on this.
Sure.
It's not what you think this is.
It's not what you think this
Just
is.
let me finish the question.
Okay.
You gotta join one, marry one, kill one. Satine, Padme, Ahsoka.
Wow.
It's join.
What's join?
Join is like you either
You like
join,
Avatar? Like Avatar, you connect the braids?
Satine, that's what I'm thinking. See, Satine, if you join Satine, you rule Mandalore at some point.
Elegant woman.
Ahsoka, hey, it could be your
Fierce,
it could be
strong.
your gauge. It could be Mandalorian Ahsoka. It could be, when she leaves.
I would keep it towards the later end of Clone Wars, Cole.
She was like 13.
What's 17 of the
That's
Well,
Mandalorian.
we'll do Mandalorian Ahsoka.
Mandalorian and
wait. What's wrong with the Mandalorian Ahsoka?
no, there's
Nothing.
Mandalorian
We're saying that's the only one that would be acceptable.
Oh yeah, okay,
Clone
guys,
Wars
relax.
Ahsoka's. Clone Wars season 7
on.
Ahsoka's okay.
Okay, so Mandalorian Ahsoka, guys, relax. Put the guns down.
Okay, Satine, Ahsoka, Padme.
Yep.
You also have to avoid Phantom Menace Padme. She might be.
This question has gone downhill fast.
Wow, guys.
The oldest iterations.
Okay.
It's not all love
Ben doesn't
interest,
stay
guys.
away.
Relax.
Okay. All right.
Jeez.
So join one,
Join one.
marry one. I have to kill one.
Correct. They're all in the same room. You got one blaster. Go ahead.
Tread lightly.
Okay. Well, Padme, Natalie Portman. That's pretty incredible. She seems she seems like a ride or die too. I mean, she was with Anakin until the end, so I feel like a marry would be a good move there.
I agree.
I'm gonna kill Satine.
Ironic.
I like Satine's awesome. She's a little too high class for me. I respect what she does. I respect what she does. I love her character. Obi-Wan was right to love her. That's fine.
Allegedly.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Not allegedly.
We're here.
The
You
love
say-
is confirmed.
You say he doesn't love her?
Not allegedly.
Allegedly.
By who alleged?
Obi-Wan alleged.
He can't. He's a
You know
man
who
of
said?
counsel.
Wikipedia.
All right, and then I guess I will join Ahsoka. Ahsoka seems like a free bird. I don't want to tie her down to anything. I feel like, I can't control whatever she wants to do. I feel like if she wants to do something else, let her be free in the galaxy, do her good deeds out there. But it'd be a fun time. So join Ahsoka, marry Padme, definitely kill Satine, but feel bad about it.
Yeah.
All right, now we got to get the other side of the spectrum. Obi-Wan.
We have to be an equal opportunity podcast.
How much money do you make in a year before taxes?
Obi-Wan.
Oh.
Obi-Wan, Anakin, Luke.
Obi-Wan, Anakin, Luke.
It's Obi-Wan with an N.
That's his brother.
Well, I think we've seen what Anakin is a little overbearing. So
But you can't kill him, and the whole franchise is dead.
there is no need for canon here.
Oh yeah.
If he loves you, he loves you, though.
No, but I think he's a little overbearing. I think he borders on the.
Also have to be careful about the Phantom Menace, Anakin.
I would say I'm actually probably killing Anakin. I'm probably marrying. I think I'm marrying Obi-Wan, and then I'll join Luke because I
You
think.
both killed Anakin.
Bingo.
Yeah, baby. I think if I married Luke, I think after a while we kind of saw where his head was at. He was kind of getting a little weird towards the end.
Yeah.
I think we don't need that. I think Obi-Wan would have stayed solid. Obi-Wan was the only character that got like progressively better.
Correct.
Like like in his old age, he was like,
You would
Like
not
fine-
be putting
like
him
fine
at home,
wine.
that's for sure.
I think I got I got this.
He'll take care of you.
Yeah. So I think that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure. Tinder Wars. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for that. Jen, yes, another question.
What are your definitive goals for the next year of the podcast?
Definitive goals.
Like follower count.
I
You
don't.
want to reach 1,000 views.
I don't
like
want to put a follower count on anything. I want to definitely just, appreciate what I have, and if people come by and join the following, that's fine by me. What was the question? What was the question?
There's a lot going on.
I have so much going on in
Just
front of
his
me.
definitive goals.
Definitive goal. I want to get to 1,000 views, downloads. I think I'll get to that very soon, so I'm excited for that. And then, like I said before, I want to interview people that I'm not like close friends with, so it'll be I'll really get to know them and what their Star Wars story is, because they do obviously follow the show. They like the posts, so obviously they have some sort of love for Star Wars. So it'd be cool to explore that as well. But I don't want to put any follower numbers. That's fine. I don't want to count that. But downloads will get there when we get there, and interviewing more cool people would be fun. Yeah.
Who do you think shot first?
Who do I think shot first?
We were all discussing very briefly earlier. We thought it was
Connor Greedo.
Yeah.
I think Han shot first.
See, it was.
I thought
We
we
all-
found out the answer to that.
You see, like we all thought so, and then it turned into.
I think Han shot first for sure.
Greedo shot first.
No, because I think Han knew that Greedo was going to
I
shoot
think
him.
Greedo pulled first. Han shot first.
Of course.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right. All right.
I think Han shot first.
As
I also think Han shot
But for
first.
a character arc, what does that mean if he shot first?
He was he was supposed to not be a good guy in the beginning, and by the end, he comes and saves the day. That's his arc. He starts out as a scoundrel. He literally wouldn't pay his debts, and he literally shot the debt collector and said, "Nope." He said, "I'm not getting out of here alive unless I shoot this guy first."
Got all your money right here, and it's gone.
If we're thinking that's the worst thing Han did before that movie, I think we're all wrong.
It's not the best dad either, but whatever.
He was not the best. We know that for sure. He's like, this kid's got dark hair and emo face. I'm kind of scared.
It's not a phase, Dad. I love the dark side.
You deal with Luke.
Hey, it's Uncle Luke. I'll see you in 10 years.
Get some blue milk.
Hey, buddy, how you?
Luke, what did you do?
I'm getting blue milk and death sticks. I'll be back.
Blue milk and death sticks.
I'll be back.
You want to go home and reevaluate your life. All right. Well, yes. Thank you for the extra questions. I think those were fun, but worth commenting on.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm glad we kept them equal.
Yeah, of course.
It's a very good Kevin. Always my PR guy. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone in the room. Thank you so much for everyone listening. This was better than I expected. This was awesome. This exceeded all expectations. Once again, thank you so much for a year of the podcast. Appreciate all the listeners' support and everything. Keep listening, keep downloading, keep telling people about the podcast. Follow on Instagram at @star_wars_ mark of balance. Stay safe, stay healthy, and may the force be with you. Peace.
This is Cole. I'm saying woo.
Cole is the loudest one in the room.